Our next panel will begin with Ms. Mary Peltola, Executive Director of the Kuskokwim. Sorry, Don Young is correcting me. Kuskokwim River Intertribal Fish Commission. So the chair now recognizes Ms. Peltola to testify for 5 minutes.
Okay. Mr. Chair, committee members, thank you. My name is Mary Peltola. I'm the Executive Director of the Kuskokwim River Intertribal Fish Commission.
And thank you for the delicious salmon that you gave us. We were all enjoying it up here, by the way.
My Yupik name is Agashak. I've been fishing on the Kuskokwim River in our traditional way with my family since I was 6 years old. Our way of life as Alaska Native people is inextricably linked with our marine ecosystem, which forms the foundation for our culture, our spirituality, our food security, and our future. We have stewarded this place for millennia. In more recent years, the Bering Sea has also become host to huge commercial fisheries for pollock, crab, halibut, cod, and numerous other species. These commercial fisheries are among the largest in the world, harvesting vast amounts of seafood from the Bering Sea year after year. Even in this rich and productive ecosystem, our current system of fishery management under the Magnuson Stevens Act is failing. Ecologically, the Bering Sea is undergoing declines at an alarming level. In 2021, decades-long trends of declining Chinook salmon stocks continued, and fisheries throughout Western Alaska were closed. Alarmingly, this year and last year, chum salmon stocks, which usually provide a critical source of food even when Chinook stocks are low, crashed as well throughout Western Alaska. These alarming changes reveal the weakness of our current management system to adapt to the challenges of climate change when the only actions are to react and reduce the directed fisheries for these species without addressing the underlying bycatch, habitat, forage, and associated issues. Alaska Native people are the original stewards of this place and have no seat at the table in a system that is set up to prioritize economic benefits over Indigenous ways of life and gives primary management responsibility to those with only a financial interest in the fisheries. Regarding climate change, it is clear that our current fishery management system, which operates in a single species context based on historical data and reliant on limited sources of knowledge, is not up for the challenge of climate change. HR 4690 will incorporate climate considerations throughout the management process and will provide important direction to the councils to consider and assess the climate change impacts on fisheries. Most importantly, these considerations must translate into action to ensure resilient and sustainable fisheries and fishing communities into the future. Regarding tribes and traditional knowledge has an important place in our fishery management system, yet currently there is no recognition or inclusion of traditional knowledge in federal marine fisheries systems. The topic of traditional knowledge is too detailed to provide comment in a 5-minute window, but I'm ready to answer questions about it if asked. This bill makes several important changes. The HR 4690 makes several important changes to improve equity in the fishery management process overall and for tribes in particular. The bill includes subsistence, just even the word subsistence throughout the act, bringing this important use of fisheries, really our most historic use of the fishery, formally into the Magnuson Stevens Act. Most importantly, HR 4690 adds 2 designated tribal seats to the North Pacific Fishery Management Council and would give Alaska Native tribes long overdue seats at the management table. In addition, HR 4690 makes important changes to provide more balance in the council system by requiring broader representation and more balanced appointments. These are essential changes to a broken system, and we support them wholeheartedly. Regarding reducing bycatch, wasting is not acceptable according to our cultural values, which guide us to take only what we need and use everything we take. And wasting fish and wildlife has serious impacts on the future of our resources. Under current law, bycatch must be minimized under National Standard 9, but only to the extent practicable. In a council system dominated by the fishing industry, in real terms, this is interpreted to mean that bycatch need only be minimized to the extent that it doesn't cause economic impacts to the fishery catching the bycatch. This creates serious conservation concerns by unnecessarily wasting fish. It also poses stark equity issues by prioritizing bycatch fisheries over traditional and historic fisheries that allow people to feed our own families. H.R. 4690 addresses this critical issue by removing the phrase "to the extent practicable" from National Standard 9. We support this very important change, which will reorient the MSA towards the original purpose of reducing bycatch. This change is key to the sustainability of our fisheries and to creating a more just and equitable system. Thank you for the opportunity to provide comments today. Our fishery management system and our fisheries are at a crossroads as we face the crisis of climate change with an inequitable system of management. We are heartened by the forward-thinking solutions presented in the Sustaining America's Fisheries for the Future Act, which will give us the tools we need to restore abundant oceans and continue practicing our way of life. We look forward to working with the subcommittee and your staff to move H.R. 4690 forward. I have 37, or I'm over?
No,
Okay.
you are over time, but I ate some of your time at the beginning, thanking you for the salmon, so it's good.
Okay, I just wanted to mention that we are only trying to feed our own families. We're down to 20% of what we historically harvested. We do not contribute anything to the gross domestic product or ex-vessel value. We're just trying to feed our families.
Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank you.
Peltola. And I will have some questions for you when we come back to questions as well.